We'll go ahead and open the meeting for Angola Common Council Monday, April 17th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Crum.
Here.
Councilmember Olson.
Here.
Councilmember Armstrong.
Here.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember McDermott.
Here. Request approval of the April 3rd and April 11th minutes. Seconded, discussion. All those in, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The minutes of the March 6th Board of Public Works and Safety meeting presented for council information. Under unfinished business, ordinance number 1727-2023, an ordinance amending the ordinance fixing compensation of appointed officers, deputies, and other employees and of police and firefighters for the city of Angola, Indiana for the year 2023. Police grants, third reading. Second. Moving second, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Is there any other unfinished business? If not, we shall go on to new business. Ordinance number 1728-2023, an ordinance regulating the collection of disposal of yard waste and brush, limbs, and tree prunings. First reading.
Move to approve.
Second. Moving seconded. Any discussion?
Chad,
Yes.
just want some verification that if there's a storm event that is going to happen, what would happen if, say, Joe Schmo, who has vacation, is the only time he can get it, and they call you, would you still come out to get that? Or?
Yeah, well, if there's a storm event or whatever, we'll still be doing it probably for a month like we were doing it.
Right.
So,
Well, and Yeoman's job, by the way, I mean, fantastic work there. But, and all the departments that helped you out too. So I was just curious about that.
Yep.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Ordinance 1729-2023, an additional appropriation ordinance for the city of Angola, Indiana, general and lit economic development. First reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Move second, discussion.
Are these funds for the hospital project?
Yes.
By the way, the other last week, good question. I thought you guys all asked good questions, so any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Ordinance 1730-2023, an ordinance amending the Angola Municipal Code, Title II, Administration and Personnel, Chapter 12.15, Department of Economic Development, first reading.
Move to approve.
Second, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Ordinance number 1731-2023, an ordinance regulating events, parades, and/or gathering of public property. First reading.
For the purposes of discussion, I will move to approve in the positive.
Have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Move second, and now discussion.
This is going through the Board of Works. The Board of Works felt that this agreement or the policy as written is fine, other than the fact that it should go to the council because this is a significant policy change. So for consideration for the council. Jen, would you like to talk the council through what we're trying to accomplish?
The main goal with this ordinance is to formalize a procedure for when people wish to host events on public property. So that includes like parking areas, so any of our parking lots, the quads, our larger sidewalk areas where they maybe set up tents, even on streets if they wish to close streets. So this lays out kind of a timeline to notify our public safety, so they have time if they do need to ask for more staff that they can do that, or just be aware that it's coming. Additionally, setting up barricades, planning for that, as well as sometimes we put up temporary trash cans, whatever we think might be appropriate for whatever type of event it is. It also allows us to make sure they have got liability insurance, which is important when it's happening on public spaces. And just again formalizes the process that in part has been followed up to this time.
We talking about neighborhood block parties and that as well.
One of the things that the board works, I brought up a number of things that I was opposed on, and one of those was event defined by this ordinance includes, I just use examples. People uptown to Monument Pizza having singers.
Right, that's what I was talking about. Yep.
Our block party jumps in.
And others.
Trine's coming uptown here in, what, a month or so? Don't they have their Take Back the Night uptown and so
Yeah.
forth? Even their fraternities.
I don't think they're coming uptown this week. I got a thing the other day that they're just going Park Street, but.
But historically they have.
Before they did come uptown.
And we've also had one of the fraternities go uptown and kind of have their members see what it's like to be homeless. By definition, these would all be required to have $1 million liability. They were required to have 90-day notice of the city. I just stopped off at Monument Pizza and asked the question, when do you determine when you're going to have music? It says, well, we could have music next Friday.
When the
By
artist is
definition, that would be illegal according to the ordinance. Our block party would be illegal because how are we going to get $1 million liability? We're not going to do that. They're just going to either ignore it or not do it. And I don't think that's the purpose of what we want to have. We want to have events in the city that celebrates our community. And so and the other one I didn't like is I don't like a warning notice. I don't think that should have to have a warning notice. I mean, that by definition also have to be 4th of July. Oh, by the way, everybody who's going to be around those streets that are the roundabouts of getting through the city would have to be notified by somebody. And I think that's a way undue burden. So I'm not going to vote for this. There's just no way I'm going to vote for this. I just think.
And you are on Planning Commission?
Board of Works.
Board of Works, yes. And there was a vote there, yes?
There was, the suggestion was that, as Dave said, this is a policy issue, so they should come in front of all 5 of us. And I want to stop it there, but I agreed with him as it's policy, so we'll move it to here. But I said, I just don't see how you can do this. Because I'm also afraid that what we could do is a situation where we could have uneven enforcement. You know, and we don't know when somebody's having something.
Well, I have no idea what the premium is on $1 million of insurance. No clue. But I'm going to say that I would assume it's going to prohibit quite a bit of activity.
Not necessarily. You can get like a 2-day or whatever the event is, and you probably know, have an
It's
idea.
been 10 years.
Huh?
It's been 10
Oh.
years.
But-
I guarantee it's gonna be a minimum $100.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
could be more than
$100
that,
is
but
not-
It could be
Yeah,
250.
I mean, it's not prohibited.
Yeah.
Just Jennifer, question on like for the car event,
Cruise in.
Cruise in Monument?
cruise in,
Right.
Okay.
nothing wrong with me. Yeah, when just the history, the past event, have they had liability insurance?
Well, the city hosts that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
So then, so the
And
city
events,
has,
so Main Street has always carried liability insurance
right?
as well for their events.
Oktoberfest, I know we haven't had one for a while, but if they go come back,
Fall Fest.
Fall Fest,
Right. People like Monument Pizza, they have
They have
specific
something.
liability insurance that they carry.
okay.
And they do, they know, like they do it, I forget, like it's the first Friday or first Thursday.
Uh-huh.
They have music. For the most part, we know what's going on. It's,
Right,
I mean, even block parties, they notify us.
yeah.
Jennifer, I've got 2 questions. Number 1, was there an event that was the catalyst for this ordinance?
No, it is a best practice that I've seen in many communities. So this ordinance, when putting it together, I took from a combination of a lot.
And how would it impact Main Street events?
It really doesn't, other than just formalizing it.
But they would still be required to adhere to all of the points, yeah.
I checked into Auburn and Kendallville they have the $100 million
Mhm.
liability. They don't necessarily have the warning. And they don't have to have the 90 days.
Mhm.
I think one was 45. That to me, it's silly.
Small businesses don't plan that far out.
Gary's business did, but I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either.
So I think
I
the
could see
intent
2
of,
weeks.
Huh?
I could see 2 weeks maybe, but
For 30 days. I mean, to plan something. It's gonna be very successful. You gotta plan more, a couple weeks in.
I don't know. I've seen some events that have been
pretty quick.
pretty quick.
Well, some come for a block party.
But that is planned in advance, though, I will say that.
Your choices basically are to vote for it, vote against it, or make some changes. See if we can make some changes. I think it's extremely important for our downtown and some of the other events, if they were to happen on our parks or whatever, but I think we kind of talked about parks taking care of their own.
Parks take care of their own. And you said Main Street was already covered by their insurance.
You know, the 5-hour block party or whatever, I can understand some
Well,
problems in just getting that done.
Kim, why would we care if somebody else has insurance having an event? Why would the taxpayers care?
I don't think the taxpayers would care.
Why do we require them to do it? That's who we're representing. With the we've protected the taxpayers. We have insurance. If something, their organization is at risk, not the taxpayers, not the city of Angola.
True.
And I think one of the comments, I don't know who made it at the Board of Works, this really had to do with uptown.
Oh,
I mean, was I right on that? So
Yeah,
that would be.
Jennifer, that's your focus, isn't it, the downtown area?
That's where the events happen now,
Well, yeah.
for the most part.
See, so I mean, I don't, if we could, I don't want to narrow it to downtown.
right, city is the city, right?
Yeah. And then we've already got it. So then you make, all the purpose of this is notification. Because you also got a police issue. Did you have that in the board? Could you elaborate?
All I said was that if it was going to be closing down any major areas where we would need additional police personnel, depending on the situation, like if we had to enable the truck route, if there's going to be times we as a single department don't have the personnel in order to close the truck route down and also have personnel for all 3 shifts. So we have to rely on either state or county, and they too have their limitations. So it could be nearly impossible for us to get coverage for certain events. We have both departments right now willing to help for our 2 closures of the Mound and US 20. That would be the 4th of July and then the cruise-in. After that, we don't have any guaranteed assistance from anyone.
So events like Santa Claus arriving, we really temporarily close it just with your personnel.
Just with our personnel, just long enough to run Santa around the mound a couple of times. And then once he gets seated, then mound is back open.
Seems to me like it's just a little too much governance here.
Well, you know, Dave was talking about cities, taxpayers pay for the city insurance, and something happens, it causes it to go up. I like the idea of it around the circle, especially just so these guys know ahead of time.
I agree, yeah. I think this,
Maybe they can or can't do anything about it, but the organizers and thing ought to know. And you know, you have this, but we're not gonna be able to have the police down here because of such and such or whatever.
seen that in the past at times.
Mhm.
So could we propose a 45-day notice? Kim, would that give your department enough time?
Timing really isn't the issue. it's the amount of personnel. So whether it's 90 days, or 6 months.
It's a moot point for you. It
It's a
doesn't matter.
moot point for
Okay.
me, because if we're closing the truck route down, it takes a certain amount of people, and then we don't have enough personnel to even manage our 3 shifts. So we have to have outside help. Or you decide from either council or mayor and the city attorney that if somebody is going to be having an event at the mountain, if they close it down, that they are then required to have personnel in order to man the truck route themselves. And then I definitely would be concerned about some type of insurance for that group.
But that's much different than Monument Pub that has a guy out with a guitar. Entirely different.
But according to the.
That's right. That's right. I think this is way too broad.
The other thing about shutting down the streets, we can't shut this down. We gotta get approval. Whoever's doing it has to get approval from NDOT. Shut that down. So a couple times, I think that's,
How often do we have outside events where the request to shut down the streets?
2 or 3 times a year.
I can't think of one. I'm sure there are, but I can't think of any.
Shutting down just the basic streets of Angola, a lot more simple than shutting down anything that is a US highway.
Sure, of
Or North Wayne Street.
Sure.
Anything from that point, they've been talking about their block party, extremely easy.
Right.
That's contacting us, that's contacting the street department, and making it happen.
So you know what's.
So we know what's going on, and then just the notification of the residents around the area. But my concern would be US Highway 20, North Wayne, any of the major veins running through the city of Angola. Because it doesn't only affect the residents, but then it affects all emergency personnel, fire, EMS, and police.
But I think that we should make that differentiation in any kind of an ordinance. Yes.
So what is the purpose of the time warning, the 90 days? Is it for him? Is it for Chad? To get barricades out? I mean, what is the purpose? Okay.
It is to give advance notice and planning. So it's for us to analyze what is required on our part.
No, I can ask, can you be specific? You, the community coordinator, the police, the streets, who's gonna evaluate the?
So each department will evaluate what is important to them. For example, street would evaluate what barricades are needed and where, but that's also in conjunction with the police.
Okay.
All right. We would make sure we would coordinate with the county, which we basically know what routes we have to stay away from as far as emergency services. We'd also want to make sure we're notifying any property owners that surrounds that area. For example, like when the quads are shut down, we go to each business and tell them when we'll start shutting things down and when it'll be back open. We also make sure where are they having different events? Is that appropriate location? So if they have an area for one activity, another activity, is that safe? Is there any special liability there that maybe we need to move things around to help them lay out their event and just keep pushing it forward?
And has this happened before?
Yes, we do this. about
Have you
every
moved,
event.
moved aspects of an event from one place to another?
Yes.
I can't see 90 days. I just can't see 90 days.
Would it be possible to amend the motion to include like 3 blocks in each direction of the mound?
You guys do whatever you want. Yeah, this time would be the time to start amending it, if you want to try, yeah.
I don't want to infringe on our businesses either.
3 blocks, 45 days.
30 days? I just don't understand. I don't think time. I don't get that. And I'm not convinced notification. You don't support the July.
I would just say it's staff doing the work. So us being able to plan out the timing to get things done, to give enough notice like that hair salon frequently gets upset if we don't give them enough notice because if they book their schedules out months in advance.
What about sidewalk sales? Who sponsors that?
So as long as they leave a clearance, I think it's 3 or 4 feet. That is technically not taking up the whole.
What's in front of their own store? Okay.
Mhm.
So it wouldn't impact Monument Pub. You can still get around, right?
Well, we put tables out.
Well, then this other thing about, the part of the matter is
Events,
the closure of main thoroughfares. Kwame and 20, I don't know that we've even addressed that. That's like a different piece of business.
We're cruising on 4th of July, and that's the only time we shut down the street, main drags.
And I can't think of a time when an individual shut down the streets.
Well, we had, story girl, the story,
We do it for the 10, 15 minutes.
Party where-
the story event took place.
Oh,
Memorial Day.
We shut down for Memorial
So
Day.
yeah, Memorial Day, we do it, when the reenactors come up town, we welcome them, there's several times that we do.
After all of this, we can't start,
But we're just, we won't traffic for it.
Right.
Mornings we stop and the trucks have to stay.
I'm just real uncomfortable with that.
Well, I don't know who said it. It's like, seems like a lot of governance unnecessarily.
I think that was good.
I would agree, Jerry.
Want to scrap the whole thing? You want to tone it down? What's your flavor?
I don't like it.
is it?
It's be the first reading. Come back with.
Or we can table it and have it modified and bring it back for,
Yeah.
do the 3 blocks, 45 days. The insurance piece, or do you want to require that or not?
Could that still be amended after passage on first reading?
Well,
Those things could be
it
changed.
can be modified up till the third reading, but it can't be substantially changed.
Can we table?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you want to do that?
I do.
You guys ready for the question then? Move to table.
Move the second to the table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay. Motion carried. Request approval of change order number 1 for North Wayne Lift Station rehabilitation in the amount of $17,813.75.
Move to approve.
Move the second, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Review and determine if Lamont Holdings Company located at 1825 West Maumee Street is or is not in compliance with the statement of benefits of person and property resolution 2014-845, 8 years.
Will we find them in substantial
I'll
compliance?
second.
Move the second, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Don't leave anybody here from,
I haven't seen anybody.
Anyway, we just wanted to say that we do appreciate their long time, their being out there, and the work they're doing in our community. It's a great job, so appreciate that. Treasurer's depository statement and cash reconciliation for the month ending March 2023 is presented for council information. Reports, Ryan,
None from me, Mayor.
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
Jennifer,
Nothing, sir.
Sue,
Nothing, sir.
Catch,
Nothing, sir.
Al.
I'm still looking for volunteers on our aquifer study, looking for private well owners that are willing to let us put monitors on their wells. Some of the key components would be preferably a 4-inch well, preferably within 2 miles of the city, and a Wi-Fi connection. I've had a lot of calls. We've got it on social media now, but a lot of people are finding out that their Wi-Fi, if they even have Wi-Fi, won't connect. The well's too far away from their home. It doesn't cost them any money, doesn't cost them any power. We're looking for at least a 4-year study, so we're trying to find residents don't plan on moving for 4 years to allow us to get this equipment on. So if you know anybody that lives outside of the city, right now we're up to 5 people, but most of those are city employees that, including myself, but we'd like to find out. I've got 2 more people in the Loon Lake area that have offered that do have Wi-Fi. So we're up to a grand total of like 5. I'd like to find at least another 5 to make it an accurate database that we can pull from. So,
Tom, did you talk to the schools?
excuse me?
Did you talk to the schools? MSD?
Maybe some teachers that would jump on.
I bet didn't MSD have a well? They had a well out there one time.
There's a well, yes.
That'd be within Wi-Fi range.
Yeah, I considered possibly talking to the airport also. It's in a pretty good location. Just trying to get a feel for right now we've got a little bit north, a little bit south. We really don't have either side the other way. So if you know somebody, pull on their ear. That's all I have.
Okay.
No report, Mayor.
No, sir.
Okay, request approval of the allowance of accounts payable vouchers 62290 through 62533 totaling $1,130,725.16, which includes interfund transfers of $175,261.98.
Move to approve all claims.
Second, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay. Motion carried. Any other new business? Is this your last time with us? No, you're gonna be here a while, but she is gonna be moving.
Oh.
She's going to a warmer spot.
Sioux Falls. Oh my God, you know how cold it gets up there? You think it's bad here? And the wind is always blowing.
When will you be leaving roughly?
Sorry.
When will you be leaving roughly?
I'll be leaving on May 5th. So
May?
I believe there is one more council meeting.
Next month.
Secret.
We wish you well.
Yes.
We wish you well. So,
You've done a great job.
any other new business? If not, the meeting is closed. The next common council meeting is Monday, May 1st. May Day.
Candles. Thank you.
I should have asked when we were in session, but this is not you sent out an email you said there was more COVID money available?
Well, there was, but we tried for it, it's already been taken, so I was hoping we'd get some. but-
Me too, and then we had a hard time giving that last bit away, and we had to reach our own pocket, but it's probably just as well. No, I can't.